source for all the unfolding glory at the 28th Dominion City Camp meeting. My name is Unwogo Precious, and here is what's making headlines today. The atmosphere is charged, the move of God is undeniable. From the very first section, lives have been ignited, hearts stirred, and also destinies redirected. Camp meeting is not just a gathering, it's a divine appointment. At the night of glory, God moved mightily. Healings, deliverances, and also divine encounters filled the room. Waves of testimonies are flooding in as lives are radically changed, and God is also moving, restoring, healing, opening doors, and also making things happen. Don't hold back your story. Share it at www.dominioncity.cc or use the hashtag #TheEvidence on social media. The much anticipated Holy Ghost service begins tomorrow, which is Sunday, 20th of April at Dominion City Camp Meeting 2025. You should expect an atmosphere charged with the power and presence of God, marked by mind-blowing encounters, prophetic outpourings, and also supernatural manifestation. And also be aware that there will be deep moments of worship and also impartation. It promises to be a life-defining experience which you do not want to miss. Also, tomorrow evening, we'll be hosting the prestigious Dominion Impact Awards, also known as DI Awards, which is a special night set aside to honor and celebrate those who have labored diligently and faithfully in the work of the ministry. It will be a night of excellence, gratitude, and divine recognition. Come ready, come expectant, God is set to do wonders. And in a timely prophetic release, Dr. David Obueli unveiled his brand new book, The Laws of Proper Speech. This is actually not a book, it is also a kingdom driven for anyone who desires to shape their outcomes through the power of words. Stay connected with every moment by following us on YouTube at Dominion City, at Pastor David Obueli, or also visit www.dominioncity.cc for more updates. That's all from the GMTV news for now. We'll be back with more extraordinary move of God. But until then, remain aligned, remain on fire, stay positioned for glory. Thank you for watching.
Hello, welcome to another show, one-on-one with Gmtv Live. And today we would be talking one-on-one with somebody very special. He's somebody that has been in ministry, and he's somebody who has taught the world just carrying the gospel. Indeed, he is one of the executive directors of one of the biggest Christian organization in the world, a ministry that has over 9,000 branches all over the world, and it originated from Ghana. He is the executive director of Dag Award Mills Ministry, Ghana, and he's also the executive director of Interdenominational Relationship. Here with me this afternoon is no other person than the Reverend Bright Peters. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you around.
Awesome. Good to be here.
And Bright Peters is somebody who you never have any dull moment around him. So I believe in the next 30 minutes, you are going to experience what I'm talking about.
Awesome.
Yes,
awesome.
Sir.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you, sir.
Awesome.
And Reverend Peter is from Ghana, so I would say Akoaba.
Medawasi.
Wow. My little Ghana is good. So, sir, I want to start because we know what it is now, ministry, and the excitement that goes with ministry and the ups and downs. I would like to start to engage you by asking, what was that moment that you knew that you were called? Because many young people will be wondering, how do I know the phone call? Did I have a missed call? Did I have an SMS call? So let's get to hear from you, sir.
Wow. That's exciting question. And for me, it was more like a way of saying thank you to God for saving my life. I am the last born in my family, and I was not expected because the first 5 were born in poverty, right? Wow. Like serious poverty.
Wow.
You know, poverty is different from poverty. So they were born in that, and then suddenly pregnancy, myself coming, I showed up, and my siblings gathered together to tell my mom that, no way, this guy cannot come, because you know how the last born tend to eat all the food. So there was no even food there. So it's like me coming to take over. So my mother decided that, okay, she would just abort me to get rid of me. She took medicine, you know, pressure from my siblings anyway, took the meds trying to abort me. And suddenly she heard a voice telling her that, why must you die as a murderer? Why won't you just die as poor woman? Poor woman. Why will you add murder to your
poverty.
CV? To poverty, you know. So then she stopped. And I was told by my brother at the age of 15. So when they told me, I said, so you these wicked people, you wanted to eliminate me. And but instead of being bitter, I rather immediately felt that it must be God who told my mom not to kill me. So I decided I took a covenant that I'm going to serve him all the rest of my life. So even while I was in school, I just wanted to just do something for God, you know that kind of a thing.
Yes.
And before you realize it, something led to whatever. Yeah, I am.
Serving the Lord.
Thank you.
And enjoying
it. Yeah.
So, it's now going to let me now look at what my next question would have been. That's to say, how has it been, looking back from that point? But because of what you said now, you discovered that there's a purpose early. So would you say that discovering a purpose helped you to stay on? And what if your story was a different story?
Yeah.
And then you find yourself, in this line. How would you have taken it?
Yeah, everybody have different way that God call people. There are some who are dramatic call, that some is an experience, just like mine. And each of them have their own challenges. And but for me, it's just been a roller coaster. You just move in, doing something for God. And for me, I feel that God has been good, leading me on a path. I am an assistant. Okay, so I have even this peculiar ministry, not as a head pastor. Okay. Right? A lot of people, once you are called, you want to be the senior pastor, you want to be the general overseer. I'm not called to be any of that. I'm called to assist. It's a ministry. Yes. God called Aaron. It's a calling to assist Moses. God called Joshua to assist. God called Elijah to assist. So I have this peculiar ministry that God has given to me, and serving under my father, Bishop Dag Heward-Mills, has just been an awesome one. And so that's what I do.
That's powerful, because we're going to come to that aspect of service and knowing the call, if you are the lead person or if you are to serve under, and the generation where we find ourselves, everybody wants to be on top,
the head,
and that is where we're going to come to. Okay. But before we get to that point, I want to know, the challenges, because sometimes we have the plan all laid out straight line, but engagement, there are certain things. Now, when God said that He's bringing you out of land of bondage, He never told them about the wilderness experience. Yeah. He only told them about the promised land, and the land full of milk and honey. But there was a wilderness experience between that period. So to ask my question now, from discovery of that call, 15 years till now, we're not asking your age, but want to know the experiences, the wilderness experience, and maybe you give us two major areas that have been a turning point for you in the journey thus far.
I think the first thing, and even the foremost, is like, you have to, when it comes to the call, it has to just be everything. Like I thought God would use part of me, right? So the challenge is that He wants everything, So God, I was trying to hold back one part of me, but God demanded for everything. My intellect, my temperament is involved. I'm a sanguine. So I had to use it. God wants me to use that also, in serving God. So every single part of me, that's actually the challenge. But for me, I don't see it as a challenge. I see them as process. You know, even the wilderness experience is a process in achieving your ultimate goal, and then also fulfilling God's mandate over your life. I'd also had to travel from country to country. You know, the challenge of relating with different culture, knowing people. I've been to over 21 nations now as a missionary, and then also over 1,000 towns. You know, so moving from places, you know, from places like a normal Nigerian road is almost African road, you know. The roads are only good in the main city, the cities, you know. So there are all kinds of challenges in that aspect, but they are all processed because you learn from them, you know, immigration problem and all that. So,
but us to take you a little bit further deeper.
Okay.
So that one cannot say we're just speaking vague when we say there are problems, because you know, in the African context, we really want to know, you know, and sometimes we see people saying, I didn't know this was what it entailed, so I have to go to other ways. I have to, and Jesus Christ made a statement where he said, woe unto him who picks up the plow and drops it. And the truth is that we believe that maybe for certain reasons people did not ask questions about the journey. So we need you to help us to give us one or two examples about the trying period, because I know the wilderness experience is a period also that involves trials. So in your journey for 21 countries, or in the startup days, while you didn't know you were going to go through all of this, what were the wilderness experiences that we could identify?
The first one is the fact that, like I mentioned earlier, denying yourself. Okay, so ministry is not about you. It's you carrying the cross of Jesus Christ. So you actually serving a master. Now, it is not going to be about your will. It has to be about his will. So most of the time, you wish to have comfort, right? But you don't have. You can't get it because it is not your way. I'll give you one example, one story, so that it probably help our viewers. You know, I was in South Africa, living good, right? As a missionary, South Africa. I was in Pretoria, Pretoria East, and we were only 3 blacks there. Wow. The whole of Pretoria, that particular area. And I was living good. Everything was okay. My gate, you call the gates with the phone, and then it's opened. It's not like the one you call a megad. You know, I had dogs, big dogs, and all that. I was living good. My wife had a car. I have mine. Everything was fine. Then suddenly, my father called and said, I want to transfer you. And if you're in South Africa, the next transfer should be, since you didn't offend anybody. It should be. I have not made any mistake. It should be, US or Canada. Australia, Canada, and all that. Guess where? My next transfer was Uganda. Wow. At that time, proud that I had never heard anything about Uganda. Nothing about the East Africa. It was more of the story of Idi Amin. So, and it was like moving from heaven to hell. Wow. I later had to stop over in Kenya, but now went into a place where there's no gate, talk less of a remote gate. No gates, no security, nothing. Everything was empty. You see, so it's part of those type of trial, and is to train me to humble myself. Because I left every single thing I had in South Africa. Everything. I couldn't travel with them. I had to give it to the other missionaries who were there and start all over. All these things are tests. All these things are part of the process. In fact, for me, I feel every 5 years I go through a test. It's like if you pass this one, then it's a higher test. If you pass that one, it's a higher test. A lot of people get out of ministry just because of one little, I had also delay in childbearing, so because I'm always on the road. My life, I told you, over 1,000 towns, if you say 1,000, it's almost as if for more than 2 years. I'm on the road. You know, so my life has always been, I've never been with my wife straight up for 2 months.
Wow.
Like, for 2 months, no way. You know, but those are some of the things that you pay price. And those things are different. They differ from one another, you know, depending on the
call or the assignment.
On the call and the assignment, a prophet or whatever your gift is, you know, God also tests you and allow those things to happen to also be able to entrust greater works in your hand. Because after every test you pass, then you have promotion, just like in school.
Yes. If
you don't have it, you don't do that examination, there's no promotion.
Okay, so I'm going to push your button a little bit.
Okay, please push it.
And I want you to actually just tell me. Let's assume there's no camera. Just talk to me, sir. At that point of that transfer, let's be honest, and the luxury, everything, and you get a call that says you're going to somewhere in Kampala where you know you don't know anything, and it was a call. It's not like the God call. You know, it's a different thing if Jesus says, "Go for me."
It's my spiritual father saying,
"This is another man." And you pay the price, and he tells you, "Is there no iota of like what am I doing here?"
Let me burst your bubble. You know, this was I had organized a conference for Bishop Dag. That's my spiritual father in South Africa. Everything was okay. He came to Cape Town.
Yes.
And we're having a breakfast, right? Eating with other senior ministers in the same ministry. So we're just discussing that, oh, you're doing well. You know, they were just trying to tell me that I'm doing well in Southern Africa because I covered the whole of South Sadek. So it was like, you're doing well. Everybody was like, hey, yeah, I was happy, you know. I was eating and whatever. Not knowing that anytime you are having a meeting with your senior pastor or general overseer or superior, there was a meeting before that meeting.
Wow.
You must have, there was a meeting before the meeting. It was my last supper. I didn't know, and I was contributing. I was just talking. So, boom. Then I just heard the voice. Somebody in East Africa, the person I sent to East Africa to do the same thing you are doing in Southern Africa, says the work is not going on. Then I was contributing. What does it mean? You must do the work.
Yes.
Or come and learn how we do it. Not knowing that.
You was preparing yourself.
I was preparing myself. Then, boom, then I just heard him say, okay, so I want you to go. Go and replace him.
Wow.
The fork, that I was using to take the sausage, I tried to push the sausage in. It was not going because it was like a boom. Yes. I felt, what have I done? Have I wronged the ministry?
Wow.
Have I wronged my father? Have I wronged God even? So, and I have made a covenant, right, that whatever my father says, I feel that he is the one to go and stand the judgment. He's going to answer if it is wrong. But for me, I would say yes. All right. So, but it was painful. I felt like, then, I had to communicate that to my wife, who had already settled down. I called her, this is it. There was a silence in heaven. That type of silence.
For 30 minutes.
Yes. Who can I said? All right, but later we all agree. That's also why you must also marry someone who believes in what you are doing, understand your assignments. And so
wow.
we move.
Well, so at least we can hear from somebody who has true life experience that it doesn't come, these transfers or this assignment does not come without a bitter taste.
Bitter.
Yes, but it's how you handle it, how you react to it that God is searching.
Yes.
So I hope you help a lot of us. And now looking back, of course, I've been in a conference where you ministered in one of our programs in Dominion City, Port Harcourt, and you actually, for the first time, you gave us some entertainment. That you said you brought your fans, and to get, if you don't like the CD, then your fans will buy it. But then something happened. And after that meeting, there was another meeting where you came and you told us that that was the COVID period, and you said you had been on a 90 days journey. Coasting Nigeria. And you attended, you went to how many cities?
it was 100 towns in 90 days.
100
Yes.
towns
Yes.
in 90 days.
Yes.
All formation, not a road trip, not a road show, but 100 towns in 90 days.
Yeah.
Going and doing crusades, impacting lives.
Yes.
How was that?
Okay, so it started, during COVID-19. There was this spread. Nobody can go out. All of us,
Yes,
we were all
yes,
locked down.
yes.
And in the middle of it, I just told my team, I said, and to my wife, I said, look, if we stay here, we will die.
We'll die.
And if we go out, we will
We'll
die.
die.
Let's just go out and die.
die.
Because can you imagine they spread the news that an evangelist or a pastor died with his team members and his wife in a room. That news will not,
go well.
but on the road, while trying to do something, they
Yes.
die. I am passionate about God. I'm passionate about my mandate. That's why my name actually, when we tell people Dr. Peter or Reverend Peter, a lot of people don't know that. They know me as the mandate. Now, the mandate is something that has become my nickname because I always emphasize on the fact that you must live by your mandate. Live or die on that particular.
You must live by
your mandate. So I now decided that, look, let's go. With my wife, my son, and my team members, then we decided to go to 100 towns in 90 days. And we started from a little town called Mokwa. Yeah, from Mokwa we went to Bida. From Bida
we
Niger went
State.
to that's Niger State. We went to Kotongora, to Mina. From Mina to Kotongora to Yauri, Yauri to Jega to Arugungu, straight to Sokoto to Guzo to Talata Mafara to Tafit, Tafit to Funtua to Molufashi to Daura to Katsina to Kano to Zaria to Kaduna to Kachia to Kafancha to Jos to Bauchi to Numan to Yola to Jalingo, and all through Nigeria. And
the states, the areas you mentioned are, for some of us believers believe they are red zones for
yes
for Boko Haram.
Yes. We went to Maiduguri. When we were going to Maiduguri, my team, there was a particular junction around Yobe State. The military people stopped us and they said, "Where you go?" So this is our mission. Then they told us that two things will happen to you on this road in between Yobe State and Borno State. I said, what are those two things? They said it's either the military people kill you and then pretend that you are Boko Haram, or the Boko Haram themselves get you. So whichever one, and we're all afraid. All afraid. My team were afraid. But I was the leader of the team. I cannot show, even though I was afraid. I can only cry inside, and I told my team, let's just go. We've gone too far to return. And that's actually how that particular mission went. We went to every single, from the northwest, northeast, north central, to southeast, enter God's own state, Abia, and all those areas. Yeah.
So you covered in all, how many states?
In all, we covered 36 states. Yes, actually the whole the only state we didn't go to was, is it a state? Is Abuja a state?
Okay, so
plus one.
Plus one.
Yeah, so we didn't dwell in the capital,
wow,
but the rest everywhere.
Character traits.
Yes.
Moses asked the question. He said, "Lord, show me your ways." My question is, what kind of character should one have as a missionary? And the reason is because when I say missionary, it seems like we're being specific to missionary as a calling, but everyone is called to mission.
Yes.
So what kind of character could you have that will make you defy all other laws, fear of, threat of life, health, whatever, just to go out there? And, what's the character you need to have? Diligence.
Seest thou a man who is diligent in his... Is one character trait that whether you're a businessman, you are... whatever you are, you just need to have that. Be diligent in what you are doing. And knowing fully well that everybody, you may have classmates, right? But when when we get to the real thing,
Yes.
you know, there will be a separation where this person, the person who is more diligent is going to have the upper hand. Then commitment, you know, committed to what God has called you to do. And then also we'll talk about loyalty, your loyalty. Your loyalty, which is something I preach a lot, which is one of my, you know, and your loyalty will be tested. You know, anything you say you are doing, it will be tested. Your character will be tested. Your loyalty is tested. There are 3 tests of loyalty. The first one is the test of distance, the test of time, and then also the test of fire. The test of distance is the fact that, you know, when people are with you, right, they seem to, I'm with you, you know, I'm loyal to you, you are my all, you are my leader, yeah, because they are around you. But that loyalty will be tested by distance. When you are far away, right, you are not there. My father, Bishop Dagiormes, is not in Nigeria, but I have been in Nigeria for the past 8 years or so. Now, my loyalty is still intact because I have passed the test of distance. Then the test of time. Time will tell when somebody says, I'm loyal to you, I'm faithful to a cause, I believe in this, in time will tell. People change, you know, people do change over time, all right? So your loyalty is tested by time. Then your loyalty is also tested by fire, right? So fire represents pressure, right? When people, you have friends when things are okay, but as soon as things go bad, then friends disappear. Have you noticed that people become your friend? People call you, even you wonder how they knew that you had money. Once you have money, people start calling you. But as soon as you don't have, the Bible says that even your own people reject you, right? So pressure, when you are under pressure or when the ministry is under pressure, people also leave. So those are the character thing that everybody must have. Be diligent in whatever you're doing, be committed, and then your loyalty.
Let's stay a little bit on loyalty. If you allow me, I believe that, you know, I'm not here to talk about the kingdom of darkness, but I see that loyalty is one thing that both kingdoms have in common. I'm not saying, they say what comparison with light and darkness, but even the devil looks for loyalty. So now let's look at, and I know that your spiritual father placed a lot of emphasis on loyalty and disloyalty. I would like for you to touch a little bit on that, because you know you talked about the call that you're not called to be a Jew, and you're serving. So it's also important that we help us to identify how we can stay within the line. So in the kingdom, the emphasis of loyalty and disloyalty, you know.
Like you say, even a rebel still wants a loyal rebel. All right, so everybody need loyal person. Anybody who wants somebody to talk to. Devil still wants more demons. I think that's why he's still finding, still doing a lot of work here, you know. All right, but loyalty is something that you give, right? And in this case, when it comes to the kingdom, our loyalty is to 3 specific things. Number 1, to God. Our loyalty to God, right? If I'm faithful to God, I will be faithful to my mandate, faithful to whatever God has called me to do, and then wherever He has placed me. Then the next thing is your faith, your loyalty to a vision. All right, loyalty to a vision. So that's the second one. Then the third one is your loyalty to the visionary. Now, so if you are not the person who owned the vision, so you are loyal to the person. So that's why when Jesus came and people were asking him, show us 3 people or people who can easily succeed on earth, he said that he that is faithful in little, he that is faithful in another man's thing, and then he that is faithful in money. All right, so those 3 things, all about loyalty. So God always looking for somebody who is faithful. And as an assistant, this is my take. You don't have to be number 1 to be effective. You don't. You don't have to be number 2. I don't have to be number 3. I don't have to be number 10 to be effective. I just need to be me. We are all not called to be general overseers. We are all not called to be the head. God called us, some of us, to assist. Look at Moses. At the point, Moses' hand was going down during war. Joshua was downstairs fighting a war, and then Moses was upstairs praying.
Yes.
Then at a point, he was tired. His hands had to be lifted up by an unknown gunman, not unknown, the unknown man, you know. Now, can you just think about it?
Yes.
Can you imagine if those unknown men were not to be there? Moses will not be able to pray on. Then Joshua will not be able to win the battle. You understand? So at the end of the day, you find that we have lost the battle. So it is a combination. Now, Joshua must be faithful and be loyal. And then Moses must be faithful and be loyal. And then the other ones who are lifting hands, they also need to be faithful and be loyal. Now, can I shock you?
Yes.
What God told Moses to say was amazing. God told Moses, rush down. That was after the victory.
Wow.
Not to go and celebrate, not to go and rejoice over the victory. He said, go and rehearse it in the ear of Joshua.
Wow.
Lest he think that it was his power that gave him that victory.
Wow.
Go and tell him what transpired here. There was a man who was praying, and there were other people who were lifting their hands. So all of us, God always look for us to be faithful in our office. Everybody have a place. You stay in your place and be faithful. If you are going to be an usher, be the most effective usher and be faithful in it, and that is it. Because at the end of the day, when we get to heaven, we might not even be rewarded for, heading a department or whatsoever, but that particular place that God has called you to. Thank you.
Wow. It's been an awesome time. And I know viewer out there, you should also know that it's been an awesome time. It is one-on-one with Gmtv. And again, I have Reverend Peter Bright of Dagwood Mills Ministry.
Also known as The Mandate.
Also known as The Mandate, live here. We'll be going on a short break. And when we return, we'll have some other finishing touches that we need to pull out of Reverend Bright. Stay tuned. Welcome back to One-on-One on GMTV. And my name is Dr. Gabriel Okonji. And in the studio, we have here Reverend Dr. Bright Peters. And we've been having fun. Of course, he's somebody, a viewer's delight and a missionary's delight as well. And of course, he's somebody that you don't want to let go of the set. So if you're just joining us, just get ready and enjoy the ride. We've been talking and we've been saying a lot of things about mission, the call, and right now, Reverend Bright, we're at that phase where we would love for you to, look at the generation. Well, as much as I like the fact that we try to classify generation, and they say the Gen Z and the next generation, which is good, what would be your take in the advisories for the next generation?
Okay, regarding ministry, right?
Yes, regarding ministry.
For me, I think this is the best time to serve God. We need to allow these people to use everything they have. The young ones, that's what I'm talking about. The young people must use exactly what they have. They have intellect, they have their energium. Like what you say, they have the energy.
The youthful exuberance.
Yeah, the Bible says that serve the Lord your God in the days of your youth.
Yes,
because a time is coming, you will want to do it, but you will not be able to. And ministry have a lot to do with being young, a lot. I'll give you one example, analogy. When Jesus was on earth, right, his assistants, most of them were older than him.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Especially Peter. Peter was far older than Jesus. And then Jesus handed over the church to Peter.
Wow.
An elderly man. every instruction given to such a person, you know, that's why you see that Peter was a little bit slow.
Yes.
You know, like, why must we
take it outside?
Yes,
Jerusalem.
why must we walk when we can run? Why must we run when we can walk?
Okay.
Can just stroll, you know, and all that of thing. It took even a revelation, another vision, for him to be able to move to the house of Cornelius. So he wouldn't have gone anywhere, because the instruction, right, was in Jerusalem, right? Go to Jerusalem, go to Judea, go to Samaria, and then the uttermost part.
Yes.
And then here was a guy that the whole church, the whole mission has been handed over to him.
Yes.
He remained in Jerusalem.
Yes.
No wanted to even go to the Samaria.
To
Talk less of now the uttermost part of the world. So we need the young people. That's why, as soon as that thing happened, I feel the Father had to let Jesus return back. To change that handing over by appearing to Paul, a younger guy, slapped him and then gave him the vision. Right?
I like the idea of the slap.
Oh yeah. and as soon as Paul got the vision, the same vision Peter got, as soon as Paul received his own, uttermost part, he was running. And then Paul did something. When he was now selecting his own assistant.
Good day and welcome to Gmtv News, your trusted source for all the unfolding glory at the 28th Dominion City Camp meeting. My name is Umogu Precious, and here is what's making headlines today. The atmosphere is charged, the move of God is undeniable. From the very first section, lives have been ignited, hearts stirred, and destinies redirected. Camp meeting is not just a gathering, it's a divine appointment. At the night of glory, God moved mightily. Healings, deliverances, and divine encounters filled the room. Waves of testimonies are flooding in as lives are radically changed. God is moving, restoring, healing, opening doors, actually. Don't hold back your story. Share it at www.dominioncity.cc, or also you can follow the hashtag #TheEvidence on social media. The much anticipated Holy Ghost service begins today, Sunday, 20th of April at Dominion City Camp Meeting 2025. You should expect an atmosphere charged with the power and presence of God, marked by mind-blowing encounters, prophetic outpourings, supernatural manifestations, and deep moments of worship and impartation. It promises to be a life-defining experience which you do not want to miss. Also today, we will host the prestigious Dominion Impact Awards, also known as DI Awards, which is a special night set aside to honor and celebrate those who have labored diligently and also faithfully in the work of the ministry. It will be a night of excellence, gratitude, and divine recognition. Come ready, come expectant, God is about to do wonders. And in a timely prophetic release, Dr. David Oweli unveiled his brand new book, The Laws of Proper Speech. This is not just a book, it is kingdom-driven for anyone who desires to shape their outcomes through the power of words. Stay connected with every moment by following us on YouTube at Dominion City, at Pastor David Oweli, or visit www.dominioncity.cc for more updates. That's all from the GMTV News for now. We'll be back with more from this extraordinary move of God. Until then, remain aligned, remain on fire, and stay positioned for glory. Thank you for watching.